With the Christmas Day news now, here's Mishal Hussain.
Good afternoon. Police searching for Joanna Yates, the 25-year-old from Bristol who's been missing for more than a week, say the body of a young woman has been found. It was discovered by a couple walking their dog near a golf just outside the city. John Brain reports.
Throughout the day, police officers have been searching the area where the body of the young woman was discovered, trying to establish the circumstances of her death. Detectives say it's too early to tell whether it is that of Joanna Yates, but it was found just 3 miles from the missing woman's home.
I can confirm that Joanna Yates' parents have been informed of this development. They are naturally very, very distressed. Our thoughts are with them at this very difficult time.
Miss Yates has been described as a happy and vibrant young woman, but the landscape gardener hasn't been seen since last Friday. This was Joanna recorded on CCTV that evening, buying a pizza from a Tesco store at Clifton in Bristol. What happened next remains a mystery. Her coat, mobile phone and keys were all found inside her flat, but there was no sign of the 25-year-old. She was reported missing by her boyfriend, Greg Reardon. At a news conference earlier this week, her parents appealed for her safe return.
I'm missing being able to hold her, and cuddle her and just say everything's all right.
But her family still face an agonising wait. The post-mortem examination on the body of the woman found here won't take place until tomorrow. John Brain, BBC News.
The Queen has used her Christmas message to focus on the role of sport in society, saying it helps build communities and create harmony. Earlier, she attended church at Sandringham with other members of the royal family. Our royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell reports.
Morning worship at Sandringham, and the freezing temperatures brought out various rather large fur hats and heavy coats. Absent this year from the royal family gathering was Prince William, who's on call with his RAF Search and Rescue Squadron, and the other family member who's planning a wedding, Zara Phillips. She was at home in Gloucestershire. Arriving at her home in Berkshire, Kate Middleton, who's spending a last Christmas with her family. From next year, she'll be at Sandringham, watching the Queen's Christmas message with the Queen. This year's broadcast was recorded at Hampton Court, where in 1604, the then King, James, commissioned a new translation of the Bible. Next year will be the 400th anniversary of its publication. But the main theme of the Queen's broadcast was a contemporary one, the importance of sport in today's world.
During this past year of abundant sporting events, I've seen for myself just how important sport is in bringing people together from all backgrounds.
Princes William and Harry were shown playing football in Lesotho. In sport, as in life, the Queen said, it was important to abide by the rules.
And no team can hope to succeed without cooperation between the players. This sort of positive team spirit can benefit communities, companies and enterprises of all kinds.
Sport also played a part, the Queen said, in helping to rehabilitate injured members of the armed forces. But, unlike the Christmas messages of recent years, there was no direct reference this year to the work being done by the armed forces in Afghanistan and elsewhere. So, a comparatively low-key Christmas broadcast, but ahead lies a busy 12 months for the Queen, with 2 family weddings, her own 85th birthday, Prince Philip's 90th birthday, and the lead-up to the Diamond Jubilee in 2012. Nicholas Witchell, BBC News, at Buckingham Palace.
In his Christmas sermon, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, has highlighted social divisions, questioning whether the richest were doing enough to share the burden of economic hardship. Our religious affairs correspondent, Robert Piggott, reports.
To soaring music amid the splendour of Canterbury's historic cathedral, the leader of the Church of England celebrated Christmas. But Archbishop Rowan Williams used his sermon to warn of the divisive effects of economic austerity. He said society could cope with the hardship only if people were confident that the richest were sharing the burden.
That confidence isn't in huge supply at the moment, given the massive crises of trust that have shaken us all in the last couple of years, and the lasting sense that the most prosperous have yet to shoulder their load.
Archbishop Williams has been an outspoken critic of the banking industry and money markets for their share in creating the financial crisis. Today's Christmas message represents a further stern rebuke. It's also a stark warning that unless a sense of fairness is restored, the mutual trust necessary to rebuild society will never be regained. At Westminster Cathedral, Roman Catholics greeted Christmas with candles and carols. The Archbishop of Westminster, Vincent Nichols, also voiced concern about society and the way it sidelined religion.
Some cast belief in God as marginal and not a serious factor in how life is to be shaped. Today is a moment to challenge those assumptions.
In Rome, Pope Benedict also spoke of the pressure on believers, urging Catholics in China to resist the limits communism placed on religious freedom. Robert Piggott, BBC News.
In Pakistan, a suicide bomber has killed at least 40 people and wounded another 60. The attacker, who was wearing a burqa, targeted hundreds of people who'd gathered to receive UN food in the Bajaur region in northwestern Pakistan. British troops are spending a 10th Christmas in Afghanistan, remembering their loved ones at home. But as Quentin Somerville reports from Helmand, as well as the festivities, there's been no let-up in patrols against the Taliban.
Christmas arrives in Helmand, courtesy of the RAF. These are some of the last presents from home, arriving just in time.
Biggest gingerbread man I've ever seen in my entire life.
Unwrapping the gifts is a thrill, even for army men.
For the wife. Thank you very much for her.
In the cookhouse, uniform regulations were relaxed, and Christmas lunch was served in shifts.
Had a fantastic lunch, thank you. It's been brilliant. I think not quite as good as Mum would have cooked at home, but nearly there.
To my mum, my brothers and my sister, I miss you all, and I'll be back home soon.
In the air and on the ground, patrols continue as normal. This is the Royal Highland Fusiliers, 2 Scots, on patrol in Babaji.
The compound just behind me here had as many as 50 IEDs, improvised explosive devices. Those bombs have all been cleared out now, but just over there to the left in that compound, the Taliban are still there.
However, the insurgents have been pushed back in some areas. Afghan families are returning to their homes. There's a cautious optimism here, but many Taliban disappear in the cold winter months, so only when spring comes can the coalition be sure of progress. 347 British troops have died in Afghanistan since the war began. For these men and women, it's been a tough year, but one that ends with a glimmer of hope. Quentin Somerville, BBC News, Lashkargah in southern Afghanistan.
Well, there's more news on BBC One at 10:30 tonight, but from everyone in the newsroom for now, happy Christmas.
Hello there, good evening. There's no doubt that it's been a cold Christmas, but has it been a white Christmas where you are? Lots of snow lying on the ground, but for the bookies to pay out, you have to have seen fresh falling snow today. And Edinburgh, Aberdeen and Glasgow were cities that can lay claim to a white Christmas 2010. Ice, though, much more readily available for Scotland. The Met Office have issued a severe weather warning for icy roads where we've had the fresh snow, but temperatures are low enough that ice could be a problem just about anywhere. -8 in Cardiff and Belfast at 8 p.m. Just keep a close eye on those 2 temperatures in particular. We go through tonight, and under clear skies, as you'd expect for the lion's share of the UK, the temperature keeps coming down. A bitterly cold night, and the blue behind me intensifies. But towards the west, particularly for Northern Ireland, temperatures actually come up overnight. It's milder for Belfast by the end of the night than it is now. The reason for that being we start to pick up a southerly wind that introduces some cloud, and gradually on Boxing Day we'll also start to introduce a band of rain. For many, it's a fine day with some sunshine, but it remains cold, increasing cloud from the west later in the day. But it's that band of rain coming into the west that could be very problematic for Northern Ireland and Western Scotland later in the day. The air temperature may mean we see rain, but obviously frozen surfaces mean ice could become a very widespread hazard, and ice could affect much of the western side of the UK as we go into Bank Holiday Monday. On a slightly more positive note, though, Tuesday and Wednesday do look like they will offer us a brief thaw.